Hello! I'm gonna get back to making these general videos, but I'm recuperating from 2 big trips, want to get to these song parodies finally, and had an event tonight. My schedule is still a bit out of whack. That's where I'm at. I can talk about this show for a while though. Aggretsuko Season 2, which I know a lot of people online are talking about right now. It did just get released. I think people are catching up. For those of you who don't know, Aggretsuko is essentially about a woman in a very frustrating job who copes by singing death metal. She's a very introverted character. They're all anthropomorphic animals, and it's the same company who makes this show that also makes Hello Kitty. Funny thing is, I will not talk about this show in this video too much, but essentially think AmazzonKane's but in the workplace with anthropomorphic animals. They're really, really similar shows. You know, frustrated main character in a difficult environment, and they have a catharsis factor. But in Aggretsuko, it's death metal instead of revenge fantasies. That's pretty much where the similarities end. I tend to like stuff like that genre of show. Though Aggretsuko is one, the personality's not really like mine. Aggretsuko, the main character, she's very introverted. She has a tough time standing up for herself. You definitely, even though I don't really see a lot of myself in her, the show does a very good job making you understand what she's going through, making you feel bad for her, making you understand her frustration and why she does what she does. And she does get a little more confidence as the series progresses. It is a very relevant show. It's much more in the workplace. Not old, but older main character. She's 25 and doesn't really know where she wants to go in life. Has a literal sexist pig of a boss who very, very cartoonish. I'm sure people like that are out there. I've never dealt with anybody who's quite like that, but I'm sure other people have. And there's a ton of side characters who are all quirky and annoying in their own ways. But essentially, she's just trying to survive. I've talked about Season 1 before, and like I've said in a couple of these general videos, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you know it. Season 2, I did finish it. I did actually really, really like it. I had some frustrations with it, and I tended to like the first half better than the second half because I found it a little more interesting. And I thought the second half was a little too convenient of an ending, but I'll get to that in a minute. What I really liked, I thought the second season did a very, very good job of giving Aggretsuko new challenges, new obstacles, and new annoying people to learn something from. In the second season, you get her overbearing mother who's trying to force her into marriage, who's trying to set her up with different guys, and she photoshops the pictures. Oh, that is so relatable. Oh, that's very funny. Aggretsuko thinks someone broke into her house and stole her furniture, but nope, just her mom cleaning up and nagging her about her life, even though she's doing what she can. It's how many people can relate to that? I think most of us to some extent. And then she has a new coworker, Anai, this fresh out of college graduate who is overeager to please, but then when you actually get down to it, he can't take any criticism, and even the most polite of suggestions, he freaks out on you. And can't communicate in real life. He writes these very passive-aggressive, detailed emails where he plays the victim and expects an answer in writing. I thought his arc was the most interesting to me because I definitely have come across people like that. I think most people have. That's a very relevant modern type of issue, modern type of person. This is a very modern show, but I feel like the kinds of people are, and the kinds of annoying people you come across, at least in the workplace, I don't think this show's going to be dated anytime soon. because the character types are still relevant. The office gossip and the overbearing boss. What this show does, it doesn't fully redeem the jerk characters, but it does give you insight into them. You don't like them, but they're not so black and white. I do appreciate that. That is done here. I'm not sure I like all the resolutions that second season did, but I thought they had really interesting characters. Again, the overbearing mother I found extremely relatable, even if I'm someone who I feel like I would talk back a lot more than she does. Well, Retsuko does stand up to her mom, but unfortunately, her mom doesn't listen to her. And when she does, it's super brief. I actually found her very, very funny. I thought her with the photoshopped men, that was a really funny running joke. Anai was very, very interesting. I thought I was actually interested in how these characters deal with him. And the conclusion that this comes to, I thought was a little convenient. I don't know if this works with people like him, but essentially, Retsuko's forced to work with him. He won't do his work. Interestingly enough, he listens to Haida, the coworker who has a crush on Retsuko, but he doesn't listen to Retsuko because she doesn't stand up for herself enough. That makes sense, but then this guy won't even listen to the boss when he's tough on him. He still sends these emails complaining about how he's being victimized and how it's hurting his mental health, using all these bullshit excuses, which a lot of people do. But I don't know if I agree with the conclusion that this comes to about how to deal with this kind of person, because what ends up getting through to him is another overbearing office presence, whose name I'm gonna mispronounce if I say it, the pink hippo woman, who's overbearing, nosy, in everyone's business. She ends up being a motherly figure and coaching Anai through it in a gentle way. I guess it's interesting because this is someone who, that's how this person finally feels safe, and she's the person who can get through to him. She's still annoying, but you see more of the positives with her. She's a good mother. She is somebody who's very kind and very gentle. But I don't know if the message was you have to coddle people like Anai, you have to coddle them. Maybe it was, how do you lower their defenses? But at the same time, this is someone who can't take criticism, and you have to do that. I don't know if I agree with that conclusion, and he almost seems to get more of a redemption when it's discovered, oh, he's actually a good cook, and he ends up helping everybody out with this family day that the company's making him do. And then he gets better after that. I don't know, again, I know I've said this, it felt a little convenient. I was actually kind of bummed out when that arc ended, because I did find him so fascinating. I did find him the most interesting antagonist so far. The characters do progress, I think, at pretty realistic rates. And I thought the second half of the season didn't quite live up to the first. I did watch it through pretty quick. I was able to binge this really quickly, but I wasn't really sure how I feel about the Tadano arc. A lot of people really like this character, and he's a likable character, but something about him actually felt like a relationship sue to me, because, oh, he's very nice, he's kind, turns out he's super rich, he's a tech billionaire. I kept expecting something horrible to happen with him. I thought, okay, this guy is he's a rich tech guy, and he likes Retsuko. I don't know. I kept expecting him to be horribly controlling and abusive. Oh, now that I'm paying for you, I can tell you what to do. I kept worrying that Retsuko was gonna end up in a horribly abusive relationship with this guy. And the entire relationship with him felt a little bit too much like... It did feel too good to be true, and I'm not sure how I personally felt about that he really was as wonderful as he seemed, because the speed dating and a lot of other love interests that Retsuko has, a lot of characters seem to like her and be really interested in her life. A lot of these characters seem interested in her life, and I just lost my train of thought. But I don't know, Tadano... Oh yeah, I was gonna say that Tadano, that seemed like the fantasy... Oh yeah, because I was saying... Because the speed dating made a big show of telling us, oh hey, if this is too good to be true, it probably is. Because you had the guy who was a gentleman who was paid to be there. But then you had Tadano, who seemed like a slacker, couldn't drive, but then he seemed perfect in every other way. Liked Retsuko for who she was, and was able to buy her out of this job. I don't know. There was something about that I just wasn't buying. Again, if you like this character, if you like this arc, that's totally cool. But that part of it rubbed me the wrong way. It was nice to see life finally cut her a break, but I couldn't quite suspend my disbelief. It sounded a little too convenient. Oh, she's dating a celebrity. It was realistic. Oh, and it was funny that all the Instagram comments were so mean, and that was hurting her self-esteem. That I thought would have been interesting if she couldn't deal with dating a celebrity and she couldn't handle the publicity because she is someone who is more quiet and low-key. I thought that would have been a bit more interesting, as opposed to, oh, the convenient solution is he doesn't believe in marriage and she knows she wants that someday, even though she doesn't want it right now. She seems to break it off with a lot of these guys. I know I'm not really into the whole Retsuko Haida thing. Some people are, that's awesome. Also, Haida is Ben Diskin in the English dub. I'm watching the dub, not the sub, but I had the subtitles on, so I could see some of the differences in the translation, which was fun. I also am not sure if I agreed with the choice of Retsuko staying at this job. She says, oh, this is where I want to be. But you saw for the whole first season, she's trying to get out of that. Now she has a way out and she doesn't want it. And by the way, if you guys have opinions on this show, definitely share them. Please be respectful. These are just my general thoughts, rambles. And if you have a different opinion, that is totally cool. Overall, again, I do like the show. I did like the second season. But I thought parts of it were much stronger than others. I did think the first half of it was stronger, even though I really did like watching Retsuko get a bit of a break and find someone she genuinely liked. I did think that they could have dated a little longer, because even if she wasn't married right now, she could have just had fun dating. It seemed like this had to be an absolute. I thought she could have had a bit more fun with him, could have enjoyed his company a bit more, gone on some fun trips, and maybe had to deal with some of the issues of celebrity life. I thought that could have been a fun setup. But there's still possibilities. I can still see this show going on for a while. I can see that. She gets some really interesting advice from her terrible boss, Mr. Tone, who, again, I find it so interesting. I like that they never redeem him, but he does have moments of insight. He did the same in season 1. They did something similar here, but I always like that they do that. It shows that there is a little bit of good in him, even if they're never going to see eye to eye. He's never going to redeem himself. I think that's pretty realistic and also a really nice take on things. Because he says, hey, relationships aren't a way to escape your problems. I think that would have been a little stronger. It's a good message, and I kind of like that it's from him that he says that. It's like, hey, this is not for everyone. This should not be viewed as an escape. And I think a lot of people still see a relationship as an escape from their problems. But I've seen that idea deconstructed a lot more. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend's another one that deconstructs that idea. Even 20 years ago, I remember people saying, oh, hey, don't listen to Disney movies, don't listen to rom-coms, don't romanticize romance the way fairy tales and romance do. Now seeing that deconstructed a lot more, but that's not really a new idea. I like the way it's done here, though. Even if something's not new, you can still do it in a very unique, refreshing way, and I think this show does that. I think there's so much good in this show. I like the way they play with ideas, and I think it does give me insight into people that I don't really understand. Like I said, I don't really understand. I would have a tougher time understanding someone like Aggretsuko in real life, but this show definitely gives me more insight into this type of personality that's very different from mine. I get insight into someone like Tsunoda, who kisses butt all the time. You got a little bit more of her in season 1, and it was actually really funny to see how her butt kissing did not affect somebody. That was hilarious. Yeah, overall, good take. Season 2 was fun. A little less balanced. Parts of it were stuff I thought could have been better, but it was good. I liked it. Like these characters. I find them fascinating. I like the commentary. I think the art style's quite good. If you're watching and are still watching, love to hear your thoughts on that.